In this month's episode of Table Tennis Talk, we talk to the inventive ITTF commentator Adam Bobrow, also known as Snake Man. He shares his experience behind the mic on the ITTF World Tour and how he's been coping with the pandemic in Taiwan. He also teases a secret adventure he's about to experience. My guess is he's competing in a hot dog eating contest. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Table Tennis Talk. This is episode 16. It is July 2020. My name is Ryan Lewis, and I've got Joey Cochran with me here. How
Hey,
you
Ryan.
doing, Joey?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I am. It's pretty early. It's pretty dang early. And I woke up even earlier to interview our guest today. So I don't know. I feel like fresh. I feel like energized.
Nice.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm always up early. I get up at like 5:30 or 6 every morning. So
What?
I'm an early riser. So middle afternoon for me.
Got it. Yeah, today we've got an awesome episode. Your friend and one of my, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would call him sort of an idol. Adam Bobrow, the ITTF commentator and knower of all things table tennis. He joined us, and it was a great interview.
Yeah. I've been friends with Adam for a long time, and it was. I'm really excited I've been really excited to have him on the show. So it was cool to talk to him and see him and have him on the show today. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for everyone to hear the conversation.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and talk about how we're doing, how we're coping with this pandemic, and anything we've been up to in the last month. How about you? How's your month been?
Well, it's been good. So we had some family out for like the 4th of July celebrations and stuff. My sister-in-law married a guy from Mexico, so he's made us all this authentic Mexican food, which is one of my favorites. And
Wow.
it was just a really good 4th of July weekend. I've been working quite a bit on my YouTube channel. The last few videos are really good. So if you're following them, definitely check them out. And if you're not, then I would still go check them out. I've been doing a lot of serve stuff, and the last 2 videos are more on like strategizing on how to choose your serve and which serve to do and what serves not to do. And they're probably my favorite videos. So I'm
Cool.
I'm happy with the way that they've turned out. So yeah.
I need that. I
Yeah.
need some strategy. I always just do the same serve.
Yeah.
Or I find
Well, if it's
myself
working,
like,
that's all right, right? Like,
yeah, but
that's
sometimes I find myself alternating, but it's like alternating in a pattern, a very clear pattern, like back and forth or every 2, swapping, and I don't know. I
yeah.
need some strategy behind it.
Yeah, I mean, you probably don't want to do that unless it's working, then you just want to roll with it. But these videos are probably a good use case.
Yeah.
You're probably a good use case for watching these videos. So it's
Cool.
it's so important to have a strategy and to see what your opponent's doing and kind of like to have that in your game, because it sets up the whole point, right? So
Yeah.
I'd say probably serving and serve return are the 2 most important things in table tennis if you want to improve your game. So yeah, these last few videos are just I'm really happy with them, and yeah, I think I did a good job on them.
Awesome.
So anyway, how's your month been?
It has been very eventful. So I think last episode I mentioned that I moved into a new office, and so I brought when I moved in, I brought my ping pong table here, and it was sitting in the corner for a while. But one day I was working on stuff and needed a break, and so I set it up and set my robot up, and got to hitting some ping pong balls again. And I think it'd been maybe 3 or 4 months since I had last done anything. So it was
Oh wow.
it was nice. It was nice to get the feeling again, and then my quads were just dying afterwards from going through a bucket of the balls on the robot. I was like, oh, so painful.
It's not surprising at all. Like when I was on one of my videos recently, I think it was my windshield wiper topspin serve for YouTube. After like the next day, I never do those serves because I'm usually just coaching. And the next day, my thighs were just burning all day long. So it's not surprising that, I mean, if you haven't played for 3 months, you're going to be sore for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And then, as you know, we had to evacuate our home a couple weeks ago because there were wildfires that were threatening it. So that wasn't fun. So that kind of it almost took a whole weekend just kind of doing that, and then kind of like getting back to normal. We came to the office and tried to sleep, and it was almost impossible, just because it was in weird situations, and the dog was anxious, and so we ended up sleeping the whole next day. So that was tough.
yikes. Was your house all right, or?
Yeah, no homes were damaged in our city. There was some fences that got burned, but basically the wind changed direction like right before it would have started burning up some houses. So,
oh wow, that's good.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. And then last week, my dog had surgery, which was another thing that's kept us up. She had like a fatty mass. She had like a lump that was like about the size of, almost the size of like a baseball. It was like, yeah, and it had grown that big in like 2 years. So they suggested we remove it, and so we put her under surgery. They took that out. They also had to remove a tooth, and just she's like our baby. So like her recovering and like her not feeling good, and us paying attention to every little like thing that she does, trying to like see if she's okay or if it's something's going wrong. Oh man, so stressful. So, she's doing great now. Like she's still on antibiotics, but she's basically normal again. So yeah, that's been my month. It's been pretty hectic. So let's get into some news. I feel like the last few episodes there's been no news. The news was everything was canceled, and there's nothing interesting to talk about. But I'm really glad because now we've got some actual news. So in the U.S., tournaments are restarting in July. Looks like there's about two. There's one happening in a week on the 18th in North Carolina, I think. There's a couple tournaments, and so finally getting started. There's a lot of restrictions, like you should give thumbs up instead of shaking hands, and you should wear a mask. And well, actually, no, the mask is optional, which I think is crazy because that's the one thing that's been shown to like actually help.
I can't imagine playing in a mask though. Like the breathing would be so hard.
Not playing, but when you're not playing, I feel like you should be wearing a mask. I mean, I guess it's the best thing.
So I started teaching, and one of my students was wearing a mask, and it was like as he's playing, and it was fogging up his glasses and stuff, and you could tell it was bothering him. Like, I mean, he wanted to play, which is great, but I think just playing in a mask, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't suggest that. The ITTF did formally say that the World Table Tennis Championships for 2020 is going to be in February of 2021. So they officially moved that out. They did say that like throughout the rest of 2020, there might be like regional events. They called them bubble events. And so I don't really know what that means. And I feel like it's July. Like, how are they going to schedule things for 2020 and when it's, we're already so far into the year?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
But I would love to see some table tennis. So
I have a little bit of news to share. So a couple episodes ago, I had brought up that you can bet on table tennis.
Yeah.
And apparently there were some players that were throwing matches, and it was like the Ukrainian or Russian leagues. And
Yeah.
so the sports books all shut down the betting on table tennis now. So I feel like that was like a step in the right direction. Like finally you can bet. I guess it was really popular. There were like hundreds of thousands of dollars in bets every day on table tennis matches. And it was starting to grow a little bit, and it was
Yeah.
popular, but now it's like, nope, cut it out because someone was throwing matches, and it's kind of a bummer.
Man, I wonder if that's like I mean, I'm sure that's like that's a complete response to the fact that it started making actual like real money. Because, there's going to be people over there who see that it's making real money, and then they're going to be like, well, I can make the money then, because I have control over the match.
I think
Which
I've
is,
always thought like individual sports like boxing or tennis or ping
yeah,
pong, like it's kind of a dangerous sport to be betting on because it's just two individuals going at it, where if one of
right.
them decides to throw a match or whatever, like it can screw up the whole thing.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that there's enough money in table tennis, at least not right now, to be betting on it because there's not really anything to lose by throwing it.
Right.
Like, and I don't know, and the Russian leagues and the Ukrainian leagues, I don't really know what they're playing for. So,
Right.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, if there's no
Yeah.
real
Especially.
prize, then it's what's stopping you from throwing.
Totally. Totally. Um, well, that's too bad. Only got a few episodes out of that
Yeah,
Russian Ukrainian table tennis betting.
it was cool while it lasted. I went on to like sportsbook.com to just like, I don't know, see
Did you
the
put a bet?
matches. No, I didn't put any bets in, but
Uh,
I just kind of kept up on it a little bit, and no, not anymore.
yeah. I see.
Oh well.
Um, they did. ITTF published a new article that had a ton of like good, more specific information about the world table tennis, the kind of way that they're going to structure all the table tennis tournaments starting in 2021, and I would assume like going on until whenever. And one thing, so there are a couple of things that I pulled out of that. The Grand Slams, which are the 4 annual events, they're going to have permanent locations and permanent dates.
Oh
So
wow.
they said they wanted it to be more like tennis, where you've got like this is when this is going to be happening at this place.
Cool. I like it. It's a good idea.
Yeah, which I think is cool, and it helps if you want to plan like, oh, in 2022, I want to go to the Grand Slam in, I don't know, Canada or something. That would be cool. The Champion Series, which is a step down from Grand Slam, is going to be played on a single table, which I'm really excited for
Wow. That
because
is every
you'll
match
be
is
able
a featured match.
yeah, exactly, you'll be able to see all the matches, which is awesome. And Adam's commentary will very likely be on all the matches, which is cool. Um, they also said that the cup finals, so like the men's cup, women's cup, which are like the last event in like the champion series, um, are going to be in non-traditional venues. The things that they said they would be in are things like bars, nightclubs, concert halls, and theaters.
Really?
Which I'm like,
Wow.
a bar, um, which is really odd. I mean, it makes me
Maybe
think of
like a Spin New York or something kind of bar.
yeah, it makes me think of T2. How like T2 was
Okay.
in a smaller location, but the problem is then you don't have a lot of spectators, which is kind of, I don't
Maybe
know.
it'll be so one thing when I look at some matches online or wherever, if you have a big venue with maybe 100,000 seats, let's say. I don't know if any
Yeah,
venue's that big, but let's say there's 100,000 seats and
sure.
there's only 5,000 people in the stands. It looks empty. But
Yeah.
if you have a 3,000 capacity stadium with 3,000 people in it, it looks way cooler, way bigger, way more excitement.
Mm,
So a smaller venue, if it's full, I think will actually be more exciting and more just like a lot more energy going on in those kind of stadiums.
nice.
So it could
That
be
makes
it could
sense.
be a good thing if you're not selling out in some of the bigger stadiums, then put it in a smaller stadium. I think that's
Yeah.
like maybe not a bar, but maybe a concert hall or something.
Yeah, the bar was what threw me because it was like they were interviewing the event, the guy who's organizing all the events, and he said bar multiple times in like where they would be, and I'm like, what bars are you thinking of? Like what all the bars I like, like in college I used to play in bands and we played at a lot of bars and none of those bars would be able to fit like a table tennis event. So I don't know what bars he's thinking about.
Maybe it'll be like the single table. If you have one court, you can just kind of focus everything on that one court. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if it is a bar, they usually have low ceilings. Yeah, that's the thing. The low ceilings. You can't play with low ceilings.
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So they did say that in about 4 to 6 weeks they're going to announce the first events of 2021, which is cool, like locations and what the events will be and stuff. So hopefully there'll be some in North America, and you or I could go see them, which would be awesome. So, well, that's all the news. We're gonna take a break and go into our interview with Adam. But any other things you wanna introduce? How you want to introduce Adam?
What do you mean?
I could say that. So when I first started getting into table tennis and started watching stuff, Adam's commentary was what hooked me. Like, because I came in and I didn't know anything that the players were doing. I didn't know anything about the players. It was all, their names were just, I didn't know who they were at all. Yeah. And so like listening to him, his commentary, he explains the players, their backstories, if they've played before, all of the kind of, I don't want to call them moves, but like the swings and types of hits and serves shots and stuff. Like, yeah, the shots. I mean, it's so descriptive and it's so welcoming and
engaging for sure.
Yeah, I feel like he is like probably one of the reasons that table tennis has gotten as popular as it is to this point. In the English speaking world. And I feel like if ITTF, hopefully with this world table tennis stuff, if they could kind of improve the rest of table tennis, I feel like it could really get a lot bigger than it is. I feel like he's kind of the man for the job in terms of like explaining it and getting people excited about it and interested. I mean, he definitely has created sound bites that people use. I've watched a lot of funny ping pong videos where somebody does something funny and then they splice in his Kokiniwa exclamation whenever Kokiniwa does something just ridiculous. And it's like, I think I actually saw that on Japanese ping pong videos. Like the whole thing is in Japanese, but they have the Adam Bobrow soundbite, which is like, I mean, that's reach. That's real reach. How did you first meet Adam?
So yeah, I met Adam just playing at tournaments. He was living in LA, I think, and I was living in Indiana. So I travel a lot for ping pong, and he was playing in tournaments. But I think that we kind of became more friends at, I'd say, probably the collegiate tournaments. Or else maybe even after that, where he was doing some of the commentary at the U.S. Nationals and some of the other events, and we'd talk and kind of just became friends.
Cool.
I'm sure I've played him in tournaments before, but yeah, we met at ping pong tournaments, and just became friends.
Awesome. Well, let's take a break and get into the interview. Okay, thanks everybody for sticking around. Today we have a very special guest. Adam Bobrow. I'm going to go through. Is that a weird way to say your last name?
Is it live? We're not live, are we?
We're not live. No.
Okay. Is it
Bobrow?
okay? That's how I would say it. That's how I would say it.
Sorry, man. I'm going to leave this in though because this is hilarious.
Awesome. No, it's the
So
best.
we are here with Adam Bobrow. I'm going to go through a little bit of your resume. This is just what I was able to capture online. So I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff. But you have been commentating for ITTF since 2014. You are an actor and a voice actor. You've been in movies and shows. Some I saw on your IMDb was Balls of Fury, Ping Pong Player, Entourage, the Saints Row games.
You can't say player. It's a playa.
Did I not say playa?
I'm being such a jerk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You actually did voices in one of my favorite games, Lightning Returns, Final Fantasy 13-3, which is kind of surprising. I'm like one of the only 3 people who actually like that game, but
they were actually 13. That's why they call it Final Fantasy 13.
You have a really awesome YouTube channel, which with great videos. You also have 250,000 subscribers on there, which is very impressive. And probably the biggest thing on your resume, in my opinion, is that you totally whooped Joey Cochran. Was it at the U.S. Open or the Nationals?
U.S. Open, I think.
Yeah,
it was the U.S. Open, but there's a giant asterisk next to that.
We don't have to talk about that.
If you insist, I will take it.
Okay, so Adam, how's your life been during this pandemic all through 2020?
Where do I begin, Ryan? I am a guy who could probably share an hour-long story at like 4 different points of the day, whether I'm awake or asleep for that. I will say I don't like to tell people what to do more than I already do, and I don't like to get involved in topics that seem to be heated or controversial, whether they should be or not. I will say I didn't talk about coronavirus for a long time. I just did everything I was told and thought, you know what, play it safe. I live in Taipei, the capital city of Taiwan, and we dealt with it. We dealt with it early, and we dealt with it pretty strictly, and our government dealt with it very strictly and put their foot down about a lot of things, and everyone was like, sure, we're on board. And about a month later, there was no quarantine. There was just not as much socializing, and everyone was wearing masks, and hand sanitizer was everywhere. There was a little bit of panic, and the government was like, chill out. The government literally said, you have one butt. So how much toilet paper can you really consume? And people were like, yeah, government, that's a great point. I will just get 1 roll this week, and that'll be enough for my family. And I was like, I don't even like toilet paper anymore. It just fills my place. Why do I want more? Meanwhile, in other parts of the world, some of which I grew up in, it was like, use your full arm to clear every shelf of anything that someone else might want to buy in the next 24 hours. Anyway, so I've been very thankful to be here in what appears to be a bubble of we can play table tennis, go to restaurants, socialize, hug, do other romantic things safely. Anyway, we still wear masks on public transportation. People still clean their hands when, after leaving a bathroom and stuff like that. Some of us. I said us. I said us to include myself, just so you think. But anyway, in terms of that, I am about to engage on one of the scariest / most exciting adventures of my life. And it's been very stressful for the past 3 weeks. Okay. Which, if I'm planning accordingly, I should avoid stress, keep my immune system as high as possible, chill out, sleep, stop eating sugar, and just turn nervousness into excitement, which is what I plan to do in the next 96 hours.
Okay, so we got to ask, what is it?
What is
I've decided to stop talking about it in detail because have you seen the movie Free Solo?
Yeah.
I have not, but I've been told to watch it by about 10 different people.
Well, Final Fantasy XI, I will be the 11th person to say you should see this film. Let's just put it this way. I don't want to spoil anything, but sometimes when you've decided you're going to do something that maybe other people wouldn't, they will bombard you with reasons why you shouldn't. And it's not healthy for you to read those reasons, to watch those reasons, or overly think about maybe you shouldn't, because you're going to do it. And you just need to do the best you can to evaluate the risk and mitigate that. Give yourself the best chance possible to avoid failure. So I will document it heavily. It will eventually not be a surprise or a secret. But in the meantime, that's how I'm dealing. I'm reading people's horror stories and tragedies. I'm wishing them the best. I'm trying to encourage people and be a bright light during a dark time. And assuming everything goes well, I will experience my first quarantine in about 2 weeks, for about 2 weeks. And I have this fantasy that when I'm in my room, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever thought, if I ever had to go to prison, like I got accused of a crime I didn't commit, I'd start working out regularly and get a six-pack and get really buff and start reading books and like sleeping on time and just become the most disciplined person because I'd have no other distractions. I will have Wi-Fi in my room, which could keep me from everything I've ever wanted to do in my life. Also add to a few things, but it could definitely keep me from being disciplined. But I'll keep you posted. Is that our time? I gotta go. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed the interview, everybody.
All right. So are you going to be putting it on your YouTube channel?
Yes, I will.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll include that in the link in the show notes and
thanks.
Catch up with that.
And I'll try to catch up with your beard in terms of quality.
It maintains the same quality pretty much all the time.
I've maintained not breaking puberty yet, but I'm on the way.
Joe, you want to do our? We've got some rapid fire questions.
That was the first one, right?
Yeah, one word, close to one word answers.
This might be tougher than quarantine, but okay.
Okay. These are usually like icebreaker questions, but I think the ice has already been broken, so we'll just do them anyway. We already have them in
ice
here.
melting question.
Okay.
All right. Rapid fire. First thought that comes to your mind. All right. Start with favorite player.
Nima Ito.
Shoe size. American.
11.
Okay. Favorite tournament.
Japan Open.
That's cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd love to go sometime.
You should.
Favorite shirt.
This one.
So for our viewers that don't know, Adam is he's got a lot of very vibrant, cool shirts that.
Yeah.
Are those custom made? I don't
They're
even
flamingos.
know. Flamingo and is that Andro?
It is. It's a flamingandro.
Awesome. All right.
I've never said that before in my life. I probably never will again. It is not custom made. The back of it is, I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, that's great. Bobrow,
yeah,
all blinged out.
I want to encourage guys and girls that it's okay to shine. That's standing out is outstanding. No, it's not custom made. Just I put my name on the back. It's from the Japan line. But back to rapid fire. You ask me whatever you want. I'll keep it short.
sorry. Okay,
I'm
rapid fire. Favorite drill to practice?
Sleeping.
Favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
If you could live anywhere, where would you live?
Taipei.
Favorite board game or video game?
Boggle. Blinks. 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 Move 38's blinks.
Favorite country you've lived in?
That's so controversial. It depends who you ask. I'm gonna.
How about what number of countries you've lived in? Because you've lived all over the place.
That's also controversial. Let's put it this way. I love the United States and I love Taiwan. You call it whatever you want. I currently love Taiwan. There is a very large country with a lot of people that will agree that Taiwan is a place.
Okay. Oh, that's what's controversial. I was like, how's your favorite anything controversial? All right, I understand what you mean.
Adam, are you in China right now? I am in Taipei.
Please don't ask me anymore.
Nope.
I learned that one the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
I love it here. I love Taiwan.
Number of languages you speak fluently?
0. 1. 1.
Number of languages you speak non-fluently?
I don't know where you draw the line on that, man.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Conversationally, let's say 3. Enough to entertain people. A lot.
Okay. Who has the best backhand in the world, in your opinion?
Fan Zhendong. Mima Ito. Mima Ito.
Who has the toughest serves?
I'm gonna tie that with Mima Ito. Mima Ito, straight up. No question.
Your favorite match that you've announced for?
Liu Shiwen and Ju Yuling 2017 Women's World Cup in Canada.
Wow, I'll have to go watch that.
It's incredible.
Favorite pump up music?
I mean, it's so situational. That's a one-word answer. Wow. Pump up music. Internet friends. It's Knife Party's Internet Friends. I forgot the name of the bootleg remix that I have, but God, it gives me chills every time. It's so hard. It's so hard.
Color of your toothbrush?
Which one? The one I'm currently using the most is orange, mostly white, orange on the handle, but the case is hot pink. I have a lot of toothbrush stories.
Favorite cartoon show growing up or now?
South Park.
Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
I like Swedish people. And I'm not into sour things. I think I'm just too old for you. I'm going to go with Garbage. What? Shoot. Garbage Pail Kids? Is that their name? The cards where they were all gross and everyone had some sort of like human malfunction at a high level?
Yeah. Yes, that's Garbage Pail Kids.
Yes! Yes! Thank you for understanding me. Nickel for movies and popcorn. Okay.
All right. Celebrity crush.
Oh man. I like offbeat celebrities. There's this depressed comedian girl whose name I forget. She probably doesn't count. But she tells one joke so well that it makes me love her because I just think she's brilliant. She delivers it so well. I'll have to look up her name.
That's okay. Favorite pizza topping?
Spinach. Garlic.
And what time is bedtime?
You know what? When I realize I can't stay awake anymore. Or 8 hours before I know I have to wake up the next day if I'm responsible, which happens every once in a while.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the last of our rapid fire questions. So
You passed.
Yeah, you passed.
If I pass that, that's like grading on a curve where everybody passes in a pass or fail class. If that passed, I passed on like 5 questions and I freaked out. Honestly, any question that did not have a one-word answer and any question that did have a one-word answer. So every question I could answer longer than the entire interview. From the Shawshank Redemption to toothbrushes and bedtime. Like, and service everything. Table tennis questions. I'm a stories guy, but I guess fortunately for me, there's a job in the world where you just have to talk, and that's your job. And people have to listen. And you try to keep it exciting or, remind people how amazing our favorite sport is and the amazing people that grace the stage in it. That's the thing with celebrity crushes. Like, all of them are my friends now. Like, every celebrity crush I've ever had are like the people that I spend half of the year with.
That's awesome. Pretty cool.
Thanks. Yeah,
it's convenient.
Yeah, it is. Ain't it though?
All right, well, let's move on. I love your stories, so I definitely want to get a couple of your stories in.
Yeah.
Let's move. Let's go. You travel quite a bit as an ITTF commentator. What are some of your favorite places you've been?
Well, where I'm living now, Taipei is amazing. It's part of the reason I moved here, and have no intentions to move out of here, and have a dramatic story to tell soon. Wow, it's so tough to keep it in because it's all that's on my mind. Favorite places. I love the Philippines. I'm a big fan. I love Japan. If you've never been, you have to go. I love India. I love Indonesia. I love Thailand. There are a lot of places outside of Asia, but I do think that Asia is quite special for many reasons. And I think part of it is when you go to a place where it's similar to where you grew up, it's less shocking. Different is always interesting to me. That's part of the reason I don't love fitting in or conforming. And I will. My favorite movie of all time is the #1 movie on the internet. So I'm not afraid of conforming when it makes sense to me, but I prefer not to if there's an option. Asia is really, incredible. There are a lot of amazing places in Europe. I'm a big fan of Nigeria. I love Latin America. From what I've experienced, Argentina was amazing.
I just bought an Argentina cookbook. It came yesterday.
Well, you bought a great cookbook because Argentina's food is on fire, which doesn't mean they don't have sushi or ice cream. Their ice cream's incredible for that matter. But there's one thing that you will not find in that cookbook that I highly recommend getting, alfajores, which are, if you're trying to stay in ketosis or avoid diabetes, you're missing out on this. It is probably the most sugar-heavy thing since a Costco, family-sized 5-year supply of sugar. It's unbelievably delicious, and that didn't stop me from deciding that you just got to test your limits sometimes, and boxes are meant to be finished in one sitting. Countries, man. I don't know. I don't think there's anywhere I've traveled that I haven't enjoyed, but it's related to the people. And I think, in my experience, the power of reciprocity is incredible. I've read a lot of things online about how the world feels about people from the United States, but you can go anywhere in the world, and if you are enthusiastically open to learning about people and meeting people, they will greet you with arms wide open. That's my experience. And it's not going to be the same for everybody, but generally that helps.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So Adam, like I've listened to a lot of your commentary on matches. Like I told you a little earlier, you are the reason I kind of like learned a lot about table tennis and got into it as much as I have. Like I have a
Welcome.
lot of your voices. I have a lot of your sayings in my head constantly, so I appreciate that.
Cool. Which ones?
Like Koki Niwa, like which is like my favorite one, and I think all the time. Anyways, you mention a lot of times that the screen that you're able to see while you're commentating is the same thing that we see like on live stream, and so I'm curious, like what does the behind the scenes look like when you're commentating? What does that little section that you're at look like?
Well, it depends. It depends on every single stadium. And there have been places in the world where I have sat on a block of stone with no back support, and I've looked like Kate Winslet in the Paint Me Jack scene, where I'm just sort of like lying down to mix it up and try to remind people that I love my job. I don't think they need much of a reminder, but yeah, maybe it's gloating a little bit, like I don't even have to sit up at work. And then there are also times where I have like a sound engineer next to me who's handing me fruit and whatever snack I want, and just like constantly there if I need them. Sometimes I have a box around me. Recently, when they've wanted me closer to the court, they've put me in little like Arabian Nights, sort of like in Aladdin, like these little booths that have nice dressings, and it's just me alone in there. So I can play Pokemon Go on two phones between games or between points or during rallies or whenever I want. I'm not addicted. I can stop whenever I want. Hold on one sec. It's okay. It's not shiny. Let me think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm watching the screen. I did a video with Dan Ives a while ago where he sort of documented what it was like at the Swedish Open for me and showed my booth. Cool. Sometimes on my social media I post about it, and I'll try to do more just to let people see. I also encourage people, like I encouraged Joey earlier, to go to the Japan Open. I think that was during my rapid fire pass, my passing score. Just enjoying it. Yeah, I was going to say that I encourage you to go to any World Tour event you can. And we'll see about the dates and what happens with Houston. But the World Championships are scheduled to be in Houston in 2021. And that is not just a World Tour event. That is like, it's like a World Tour event is awesome. It's like a rave if you've never been, for table tennis players, if you've never been to a table tennis professional tournament. But the World Championships makes it look like a college like dorm room party compared to the rave that the World Championships is. Nice. So you do not want to miss that. If you are anywhere in the United States and it will not kill you to be there, it'll kill you to miss it. It's just you've got to go. People are like, Adam, I don't know, man. It's a 2-hour flight. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's a 2-hour flight? It's in Houston. There's nowhere in the country that it's going to be more than like a 4-hour flight at worst. Yeah. I mean, from the very deepest corner of the Northeast, like, go. 4 hours? Just read the media kit on ITTF.com, download it and read up on every player who's participating and get yourself prepared and hyped to watch the most amazing thing you've ever seen. I feel that way about every event, and obviously when you do something regularly, it becomes the norm. So you take things for granted when you have them consistently. It's tough not to. But I cleanse my palate often between tournaments, and right now is the biggest palate cleanse I've had since 2014, because since March 10th, I have not been to a tournament. And I told Joey earlier today that I have not only maintained my position, but have stepped even further into the lead as world rank #1 in table tennis based on bloodshed while playing. And when you invited me to the Zen Master, whatever this app is called that is making our quality so beautiful and amazing, I'm chilling because I have a bag of ice. It's actually blackberries, frozen blackberries, and until they melt and start dripping on my foot, my shin is appreciating it greatly. Nice. What was the question again?
Did you get a video of it?
Not only did the video that I got of it looks really not as hilarious as it could, but fortunately there were other people in this city in Taiwan 2 hours away by high-speed rail that, like, I guess see my YouTube, and they were like, they caught it. And also, my opponent,
wow.
I don't know if I should name drop right now, but let's just say she's been the #1 woman player in Taiwan for a long time, and she's an incredible person. Her coach, who you guys know, because she not only represented the U.S. at the Olympics, but was also a national champion, was taking video on, like, just a few occasions and caught the entire, like, the best point of our entire hour and a half of playing until I gashed my shin open. She caught it. Like, the odds of that happening were incredibly slim. So, yeah, we've got good footage for you.
That's awesome. Adam, one of the things that always impresses me about your commentary is how much you know about, like, the history of the players and, like, their current world rankings and their previous matchups and everything. And I always wonder, do you do specific research before a match, or are you just a human encyclopedia that knows everything?
Well, definitely the latter. No, I actually don't know anything. My voice, while it might sound unique to you, I found this person on Tinder who has a dead-on Adam Bobrow impression. And so anything that requires knowledge, my Tinder match, we just call in because it's not on camera. So, yeah, I'm able to remain as ignorant and blissful as ever. No, okay. Man, is it getting late in here? Is my sense of humor always is terrible? It is after the point where my ride would have turned into a pumpkin here in Taiwan, but I'm happy to be here. This is when I start to wake up normally. To answer your question, I'm very interested in soaking up information wherever I can. And I can't always know if everything is accurate in life. But when it comes to statistics and table tennis, I've got a fairly reliable source, and a lot of times my own recollection and eyes, you know. The best, I don't know if you've ever taught anyone anything. I don't know if you've ever done anything for another human being in your life. If teachers know this, then they know it well. Joey, of course you guys do. You teach table tennis at a high level. Anyway, the best students are always the ones who want to be there, that are genuinely interested in learning, right? And
That's
it's the same.
Absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you see that as a coach. You see it as a teacher. The teachers love the students that chose to be in that class because they show up excited to learn. And the ones who are forced to be there are there because their parents think they should be. They just can't wait to get out. I want to be there. I want to watch. And I want to remember. And I want other people to know. So I feel a sense of responsibility. I take a lot of responsibility for having this position because I'm not just, if I saw my job as just to commentate on what happened in the last point, yeah, I mean, that's something. But if I can't help you understand the context and the gravity of the situation we're watching, you'd just be watching two people whose names you can't pronounce, that you notice are wearing the same national team jersey, and you'd be like, okay, yeah, they're good. Being impressed doesn't last a very long time. It really doesn't. You can't say wow, wow, wow for an hour and a half. That's why movies and any form of entertainment you watch for an hour and a half don't just play the impress you card. they have different beats. They play to different emotions. They pull on different strings of your heart. And sometimes that means making you understand what this means for a person, what they have to lose, why they're nervous. I mean, there are just tons of things happening, and knowing the sport helps. If you played the sport, fortunately for me, well, I've never been a professional or as good as Joey, and I never will be. And maybe you for that matter, Ryan. But,
No.
well, I need to watch your videos more. But the fact that I've been competing for a long time at a decent level and have been watching the highest level for a long time with great enthusiasm and desire to learn makes me sponge-like. And I still have a long, long way to go. And I hope to be alive in several weeks. And I hope to be and I hope to be alive in several decades, for that matter. And I hope to become an encyclopedia, a better and better encyclopedia that learns more and more and remembers everything I can to share. Because I want people to not only be as passionate as I am, but more. Because I think everyone should be. And I know not everyone will be. Not everyone. Of nearly 8 billion people, some people don't even have access to digital screens, and let alone live table tennis. And it's great when you can say that you've been to places in the world where people play on a brick table in the middle of the night because there's a street light over that brick table and nobody monitors it, and it costs you nothing. And someone has an extra racket to play with. And whether you call it a paddle, a bat, or a racket, you can find access to that sometimes. Table tennis is a very affordable sport, and you don't have to be changing rubber every day or buying the most expensive rubber. Really. At a basic level, it's a very affordable sport. And it's an incredible sport. And for anyone who says it's not a spectator sport, they're entitled to their opinion, and I'm sure they have their reasons for that. But over the last many, 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 many years, I have been forming a very strong opinion. Not to disagree with people, but to share that I believe it is an excellent spectator sport. So the more I can learn and the more I can help people care about this beautiful and amazing sport, the better I'll be at doing my job and taking responsibility for the opportunities that I have to help grow it. So that's how rapid fire goes.
That's awesome. Do you know, I read somewhere that your I guess some contract that you signed ended in 2020. Are you going to continue to commentate when, I guess, it becomes World Table Tennis next year?
Well, if I'm alive in a few weeks, I'll stop playing that card. I don't even know when this is airing. That's really funny. Okay. Tuesday. Perfect.
Tuesday.
I could be dead shortly after this airs. Amazing.
You won't be dead.
Thank you. I appreciate your confidence in me. I plan not to. That's my goal in life. So far, so good. What do they say?
My goal in life is not to be dead.
My goal in life is to live forever. So far, so good. I want to shoot. I forgot who said it. Woody Allen or George Burns. I'll have to look it up. Anyway, a great comedian. The question was what again?
Next year, are you going to continue commentating?
Right. The contract. Yeah, the contract ends at the end of 2020. Let's put it this way. In terms of bargaining, or like negotiating, that's the right term, negotiating, I'm doing a terrible job of hiding the fact that I love my job. A terrible job of it. If I was trying to play hardball and be like, look, ITTF, you know what? I think I'm worth 3x or whatever. Like, they know that I love my job. I know that I love my job. And I think relationships are important. I'm not trying to play hardball. I want to keep doing this. And I think ITTF wants me to keep doing this. we've got to, in my opinion, the relationship has gotten better and better over the years. When you're dealing with a guy who refuses to grow up and is sort of a nonconformist and a bit anti-authority, it's like I get in trouble sometimes. And over the years, they've dealt with that, and they've dealt with me, and I still haven't been fired. It's amazing. I've been fired from like every single job I've ever had. Yeah, so I constantly try to make like floating devices for myself so that if I get fired, I'm okay. But our relationship is getting better and better. I would love to be a part of World Table Tennis. They know that, and I hope they feel the same way. I think they do. So let's see. But yeah, I know they've got their plates full with a lot right now. So I'm basically just being silent, and when they start the conversation with me, I'll be there. I'm trying to be as Zen master as possible about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So I love your nicknames that you come up for people. That you give people. What is or what would be your nickname?
Man, I've had a lot over the years. In short, just to keep it time sensitive, I think it's got to be something related to Snake.
Okay.
I just try to pay attention to what people say when I'm in different places in the world and what they call me. When I was in Germany, I was on the other side of Hoppenhofen, the train station, the railway.
Okay.
And three dudes that were bigger than me and the type of dudes that like you want to be friends with rather than like say the wrong thing or accidentally upset. They were like, "Hey, Snake Man." I don't know why they had Jamaican accents apparently. But yeah, they were like, "Snake Man." And I turned and they were all smiling and waving. And I was like, "Yeah, awesome. Thanks for not punching me in the face. I'm so happy." No, they were cool. They were super cool. But like, so yeah, I don't like to sound aggressive or violent in any way. But I do think that snakes have a bad reputation. Like, I think most snakes are not harmful. They're just defensive. And, everyone's got to eat.
Yeah.
So,
okay. I think we have to.
We're pretty close to being in over time, but maybe you want to share a quick story of one of your favorite experiences on one of your trips because you travel all over. I know one that you've told me in the past is like you did the hang gliding with some hawks or something.
Barrel hawking in Nepal.
I don't know. Whatever. Any stories you want to share?
Wow. What stories haven't I shared? The thing is, I've got stories you wouldn't believe. I'll keep. I want
to hear one of them, and we have 2 minutes.
I'll keep you in suspense on one. There's no commentary at the end of Sun Ying Sha and Ding Ning at the Korea Open in 2019, the second half of Game 7. I also regret printing my last name on the back of a pair of underwear. That's all I'll say about that story.
And I think I remember that match. I was like, where'd the commentary go?
I remember it amazingly well. I've never been so curious, why a stadium was cheering while I was in a stall. That's the best 2-minute story I've ever told. I don't know. I've got too many stories, man. There's one online about my trip to Cameroon, and it had nothing to do with Cameroon itself, but just the embassy in the United States and bad timing with a holiday weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like the movie Argo for me. I was in tears and speechless when I boarded the plane in the United States to know that I would end up in Cameroon. I was so happy. Wow. Yeah. There you go. Short glimpses, teasers for stories to come. We can do it again sometime. We'll make time.
All right. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think we're pretty much out of time. So is there anything you want to say to your fans, or what's the best way for people to follow you, or
Well, first of all, I would like to say, Ryan and Joey, thank you so much for having me. I think you guys are doing great things for our sport, and we need more people like you that take their time and effort and put their eggs in the basket of their passion. Money is important to eat, but happiness is important to live with yourself every day. And I think if you want to live a life of the least regrets possible, fill your life with things that you love. Really. I've lived like a college student for my entire life post-college. Really. Like a loser who just goes back to college over and over because he can't get enough of being around people that are excited about life and opportunities. Table tennis is a great passion of mine, and so are people. I thank you guys for what you're doing. I thank you for giving me this platform to talk to your fans and your listeners. And yeah, be bold, do what you want. And if that means promoting your favorite sport, whether people think it's cool or not, confidence is cool, passion is cool, kindness is cool. So be kind. Don't tell people it's table tennis. Don't be elitist about it. Welcome people. Just welcome people, and whatever they call it, help them love it and see how amazing it can be. If they want to follow me, I take my YouTube the most seriously and put the most work into that. And I'm very excited about every YouTube video that I release and very happy with it by the time I release it. So I hope that other people can enjoy it as well. I've got an Instagram and a Facebook that I use. Local dating apps that haven't kicked me off them. You can find me on there. Just, yeah, stop when you see a picture of a guy doing something super unusual that's not very flattering.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Adam. Thanks
Ryan,
for joining us today.
Thanks for your kind
Really
words.
appreciate you being on the show.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me. The asterisk is there's no chance of beating Joey if he's not using sandpaper and I'm not using my best competitive racket. I have to put it out there. Joey's a way better player than me. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
All
hope
right,
you survive
good
in another couple weeks. So
Keep in touch. I'll do my best.
all right.
Thanks, Adam.
See ya.
Take care.
Table Tennis Talk is a monthly podcast by Joey Cochran and Ryan Lewis, edited by Dan Emery from Black Matter Mastering. Music on the podcast comes from Chillhop Records. Find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And leave us questions, comments, or feedback on our Facebook page at Table Tennis Talk Podcast or on Twitter at TT Talk Podcast.